Right, so as you probably know, Need for Speed 2017 is now in development. Since they now have a 2-year life cycle, this is probably where they're kind of crunching down and really getting into the nitty gritty, and this is the best time to suggest ideas for the next game. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to make this like a reoccurring thing, a regular thing, but what I might do is I might do this kind of wish list series where we talk about things that we want in the game, you guys suggest ideas, and then if I kind of want that as well, I can make a video on it and say, oh, this guy wanted this and that kind of stuff. And this is kind of what I'm thinking about doing every Friday for a while until Undefeated comes back, because I'm kind of unsure what I want to do with that. But essentially today we're going to go ahead and talk about pink slips and wagers and just gambling, basically. So pink slips, wagers, all that kind of thing, that is something I've been a huge advocate for absolutely ages. I've wanted pink slips in a Need for Speed game for so long. I feel like the only game that really did it right was Midnight Club LA, and I'll talk about that in a minute and the way they did it. But as well as obviously pink slips, I would like to see wagers in the game. Again, Midnight Club did that well, Juice did that well, the reason why I want all these types of modes is because it adds so much more risk to reward, and it will also last to endgame. You know, it's one of those things where if you add these modes where there's high stakes and you can lose a lot, like, it just makes the whole landscape, it changes the whole landscape. It changes how much worth money's given. It changes, you know, how much cars mean to a certain individual. You know, it just means a hell of a lot more. And I feel like it adds a completely new dynamic to a racing game, which we haven't seen in a very long time. So without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about pink slips first. So what do I mean by pink slips? Essentially, a pink slip is a race between usually 2 cars, so it's a one-on-one, and if you win the race, you get the other person's car. Now, there's certain ways you can do this. You can obviously make it so you lose your car and then you can redeem it back somehow through a token or something like that. The way I want to see it done personally is I want to see it's simple. It's a one-on-one race in an online lobby or an offline lobby between an AI, and if you lose your car. Now, there's obviously going to have to be some precautions behind this because you don't want people running out of cars. So I feel like to do pink slip races, you must have at least minimum 3 cars in your garage. If you have any lower than 3 cars, or maybe even 2 cars in your garage, you're not eligible to do pink slips. That's how I see it. I feel like you don't want people running low on cars. You don't want people, you know, moaning because they've got no cars left. They've literally got 0 cars in their garage and 0 money. So to do pink slip races, I feel like there should be a lobby system, and to actually access the lobby, you need to have at least minimum of 3 cars, and you need to be at max level or higher. So obviously in Need for Speed 2015, I think the max level is 70. So I'd say to do pink slips, you probably need to be around level 60, and then the lobby unlocks. Because again, you don't want level 5s going in there with very shit cars, and you've been grinding through the game. You've got a fully upgraded car, because it's just not going to be fair. So what you really want to do with that is make sure that everyone is level 60 or 70, a very high level, and then the lobby unlocks. You know, you shouldn't be able to do this if you are a lower level, at least in my opinion anyway. And that's basically, I feel like doing it in a way where you won't get your cars back would just make everything so much more interesting. And again, it hasn't been done in a very long time. You know, I feel like just winning a car, say if I was facing Theo and I won his R34 and I was rolling around in the same lobby as the R34 that he lost, there's something that you can't get from that, you know, especially when playing with friends. If you're pink slipping with friends, that's going to add so much more tension and so much more rivalry. It's hilarious, and you could also put it on the marketplace in the end of the day. If there was an auction house like Forza has, and you won, say, Theo's R34, and you put it on the auction house, and they could try to buy it back, but obviously you've got other people trying to buy the car back at the same time, that could add a whole new dynamic. In my opinion, there's so many like ways you can go with this pink slip mode. It opens so many more doors, but we're not done yet. We're also going to go ahead and talk about wagers. Now, obviously, pink slips are like the high end. Before that, you should also have a wagers mode. Now, I think Black Ops did this back in the day. I know Midnight Club did this, and obviously Juice did this. But essentially, it should be split up, I'd say, into about 5 categories. So you've got the low rollers who only bet like 1 to 5k, and then you go up, and then people are betting 10 to 50k, and then you get like 100 to 200k, and then you get like something ridiculous like 500k, and then you get 1 million. And I feel like that would be absolutely hilarious. That would be so fun and so exhilarating to race in a race where you have literally put 1 million credits up. That is a lot of fucking credits. Now obviously it doesn't have to be to that extreme. If you don't want to do it to 1 million, Ghosts don't have to do that. They can obviously cap it somewhere. But I feel like having a wagers mode where you could put ridiculous amounts of money on the line and everyone's forced to do it and everyone puts their money on the line. And imagine if you were racing for a jackpot of 4 million credits. That would be absurd. Now I feel like with the wagers mode, again, depending on how high up you go, for example, if you're doing a race full of 1 million credit players, I feel like there should only be 4 people in that race. Because it's going to be hard to find people with like that amount of money, and also it's a lot of money, you know, like you don't want like 8 people in a race because that's just going to end up being a fuckfest. Now I do believe there should be a level cap on some of these. Obviously for people who want to bet down 1 million credits, there should be a relative like level cap to that, so say level 60, level 70, but then obviously if you only want to bet 5k, you should be able to do that right from the start, in my opinion at least. And that's how I kind of want to see the wagers done. Now obviously in offline modes, you can use it in the story mode if you really wanted to. You can use anything in the story mode, you know, you could use both this and the pink slips in the story mode, and that'd be really cool. And obviously in the story mode, if you were to bet more money, the AI could get harder. Maybe that's like the dynamic you put in there. So if you bet 5k down, the AI is easy, 10k medium, and then 50k hard, you know, like you could do something like that. That'd be really cool. I think there's so many ways you can go with a whole betting mode in Need for Speed, especially because it's an illegal street racing game. You got to keep that in mind. It's an illegal street racing game. You know, it's not like Forza where, you know, everyone's happy and jolly. This is a gritty underground racing game, and I feel like having a wager mode and a pink slips mode would really reflect that, and I hope you guys agree with me too, because I genuinely would really like to see this in the game. So if you do like the idea, make sure to go ahead and tweet it to BenWalk, Need for Speed and Ghost Games to hopefully get their attention and get this in the game. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure to go ahead and hit the like, subscribe. I will see you guys in the next one. You guys have an awesome, stay safe, and peace.